Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is the real Batman coming to you once again with review of classic Batman content. This time, finally covering the movies. Now, I have to apologize for the delay, but unlike the fake Batman, Bruce Wayne, who is everything else but blind, the real Batman, who is actually blind, legally blind, has a lot on his plate. But better late than never. Now, I am going to segment this videos into few parts. And I'm going to give you my overall thoughts and opinions about these movies. Otherwise, this video is going to get extremely long, which I feel would be a deterrent from people watching this video. But anyways, let me start off with the first movie, Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. Now, this movie reprises as Batman and also continues in a way the story of Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero before he went into the octopus mode, I believe in season 4. Here he still has the robotic body and his voice acting is still very good. The basic premise of this movie is basically that Mr. Freeze somehow survives and actually is living with a young boy called Kunak and also a couple of polar bears. Now, he is in an abandoned oil rig, I believe, is still looking after his wife, Nora, but an accident has left Nora in a worse condition than she already was, and she will need an organ transplant. Cut the long story short, it turns out that one of the only possible matches is Barbara Gordon. So the movie surrounds Mr. Freeze and his associate kidnapping Barbara Gordon and Barbara Gordon's escape from the oil rig, courtesy of Batman and Robin. My overall thoughts, it is done pretty well. It is a bit more than an extended episode. See, one of the good things about Batman is when Batman is doing actual detective work. This is why Batman 2022, although I did not like the nature of Batman, I liked the fact that he was doing actual detective work. So we got to see some of that in this movie, which I thought was done well. We got to see the dynamic of Mr. Freeze and his quest to trying to save Nora to the point where he gets very obsessed that he does not care about even the one person who is vital to saving Nora. He does not even care about that one person. He just wants Nora to be saved and the operation to be performed in the middle of an exploding oil rig. And we also get to see that Batman himself, he is one of the very few people who actually cared for Mr. Freeze. And he actually wants to help. And this is why I believe the ending of the movie, it was actually done pretty well. Although it should have been expanded on a bit more, at least with Victor Freeze saying thank you or something like that. But it was done pretty well, and Nora Freeze ends up surviving. Yes, spoiler alert if I haven't mentioned this already. But then again, this movie has been out for so long. And if you did not watch it, then I don't know what to say. But the subtle additions of Bruce Wayne's character is also shown to be done pretty well. For example, take a look at this scene when Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson are in a banquet, it seems, and Commissioner Gordon is also there. And it is established that Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon are actually in a relationship.
You and Barbara getting serious?
Maybe. You got any advice about women?
There you are. Bruce, where have you been? My friends are just dying to meet you.
Let me get back to you on that.
Jeez. And now you wonder why I don't like Terry McGinnis? Bruce Wayne. That is some boss move right there. That is some boss player thing right there, man. Good Lord, man. That type of smooth interaction, that type of player type of activity and behavior, that is not there in Terry McGinnis. Okay? Bruce Wayne, man, you're the man. You're the man. But overall, jokes aside, the storytelling in this movie was done well enough. The animation and whatnot done well enough. Are there some stupid moments in the movie? Yes, because if Mr. Freeze has a freeze gun, then he can just freeze the oil or he can just freeze the fire all around him. But he ended up doing something else, breaking his leg or whatnot. And also that continuity that he broke his leg at the very end when Victor Freeze was not in the freeze suit, even that was shown. So that little addition to detail also done well enough. And overall, would I recommend this movie? If you have watched the Mr. Freeze saga from the Batman the Animated Series classic cartoons, then definitely. I would definitely at least recommend it as a rental. 7.5 out of 10. Moving on to Batman, Mystery of the Batwoman. Now, this movie came out in 2003, and from what I understand, was made in the animation style of the New Adventures of Batman. I believe that came out in 1997. Some consider it the fourth season of Batman the Animated Series. Some of them, that includes myself as well. Once again, spoiler alert, but the basic premise of this movie is that there is a crime being committed by the Penguin, by Duquesne, by Rupert Thorne, and their associates. I believe it has to do with weapons trafficking. And for once, someone that stops them is actually a woman that is dressed like a bat. Batman happens to catch the action and immediately disapproves of it, given the lack of regard for human life that Batwoman is showing. We are also introduced to some other characters, one of them being Duquesne's daughter called Kathy, one of them being a researcher in Wayne Industries called Roxy, and the other person being a police officer called Sonia. The plot continues, and you have more crimes being committed and more appearances of Batwoman, and Bruce Wayne constantly doing some detective work to figure out who Batwoman is. Even supposedly goes on a date with Kathy when he suspects that Kathy is Batwoman, only to be proven wrong that Kathy was not Batwoman at that moment. And while we're at the topic of Bruce Wayne, I'll have to say this. Unfortunately, in this movie, this was not Kevin Conroy's best Batman, sadly, because you did not see the distinct change in voices between Kevin Conroy playing Bruce Wayne and Kevin Conroy playing Batman. Because when he was Bruce Wayne, it sounded like Batman without the mask and with different clothes on. That's what it sounded like. But overall, this movie still has some detective work. We also get the return of Bane, where at least they painted the milkshake drinking straw at the back of his head a different color so he looks a little bit more threatening. So that was good to see as well. And we have a fight scene, and it is later revealed that there are actually three Batwomen. Kathy, Roxy, and Sonia were all Batwomen. And even one of them has a crisis of conscience, asks Batman, how does he not cross the line? How does he keep himself from crossing the line? And that is some decent storytelling as well. That not everyone can become a crime fighter like Batman. They can become a crime fighter, but not like Batman. But overall, this part, I will say it was more like an extended episode of Batman. It did not feel like a movie. So I will have to give this a 6 out of 10. But I was watching this on Amazon Prime. After the end credits, there is something else. It is called Chase Me. Just have a look at some parts of this, and the whole thing is on YouTube. Just have a look at the opening part. Did you see the incredible, absolutely phenomenal level of storytelling without a single word being spoken, without a single line of dialogue, without a single person's voice? The incredible storytelling that is throughout this clip, which is, I believe, just under 5 minutes long or something. The music, the black and white style of animation. And I'm legally blind, and I could tell the story they were trying to tell. I could completely tell it. Even at the very end, Batman is shown that he has some feelings for Catwoman, but it is shown very cleverly that Batman considers his role as Batman more important than his affection for Catwoman. Even that is shown very well. And just for this alone, just the fact that this was included with Mystery of the Batwoman, my overall ranking moves up to 8 out of 10 just because of Chase Me. And people, if you haven't seen Chase Me, please, if you want to know what great storytelling is without any dialogues being spoken, with only visuals and animation and music, if you want to know what awesome storytelling is, go watch Chase Me. Do yourself a favor and go watch it. It's on YouTube. Moving on to Batman Under the Red Hood. This is from the time where Bruce Greenwood was Batman. Now, when I rented and saw this movie again, I had to create a script for this. And usually I create a script for something that requires or demands detailed, in-depth analysis, at least to some degree. If you haven't figured it out already, if you have been following me on YouTube, with my repeated comments on several videos about the Claire Redfield character, recently I have moved into a realm of doing character analysis. And yes, this is a spillover from my own university research that I'm doing, which involves a lot of qualitative analysis where every line, every tone, every inflection, and the context in which they were made has to be analyzed. So this is a bit of a spillover from that. And this level of detailed analysis, it allowed me to appreciate games like Resident Evil, Metal Gear Solid, God of War, even to an extent Dead or Alive, a bit better. Now, this movie begins with a dark premise as it is the death of one of the Robins, Jason Todd. And Batman realizing that he failed, courtesy of the Joker. Right there, you have such a strong element of storytelling.
Jason.
Some years on, we see that there is a new crime lord in town. He is calling himself the Red Hood. This is a persona that was originally donned by the Joker or previously donned by the Joker, but it can't be the Joker. At least that's what Batman thinks because he is locked up in Arkham. So it has to be someone else. And Batman ends up intercepting an android. And here is my first problem with this movie. Nightwing. Why is Nightwing in this movie? They made Nightwing look like a chump.
Packs quite the punch for a toaster on steroids, huh? Need a hand?
No.
Okay, well, how about I just stick around and watch? I think you'll have to do better than that, boss.
I did.
Did you know he could fly? Move! I wouldn't be offended by a few suggestions.
He has the same weak points as a human being.
Got it. This might sting a bit.
Eventually, Red Hood intercepts the whole operation and evades Batman. And through some detective work, Batman figures out that Red Hood is Jason Todd. Through some well-placed flashbacks, we get to see the history between Batman and Jason Todd when he was still a kid and training to be Robin. We also see that Jason Todd had some anger issues, especially against people who peddle drugs to kids. We also see a clip of Batman and Nightwing interrogating the Joker. And here is my biggest problem with this movie. It's John DiMaggio. John DiMaggio as Joker. For me, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. Because a lot of times you see that Joker acts maniacal and he really acts like a psychopath. But you feel that Mark Hamill or someone who impersonated Mark Hamill rather than Heath Ledger would have done a much better job. John DiMaggio is impersonating Heath Ledger in this scene. Okay, in this movie, rather. He sounds like Heath Ledger's Batman. And I'm sorry to say this, but Heath Ledger, in terms of voice performance, was not the best Joker. It is hands down Mark Hamill, because Mark Hamill sounds much more unpredictable. Heath Ledger sounds like he has a chaotic agenda. He sounds like definitively evil. Mark Hamill, he sounds like he might just let you go with a pat on the back, or he might just rip you into pieces with having the same expression. That is the difference between Mark Hamill and Heath Ledger. And Mark Hamill's strengths in that unpredictability is why he is the greatest performer of Joker in terms of voice acting of all time, way ahead of Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger.
You look good. Been working out? You could probably use a little sun. Then again, who am I to talk?
He's calling himself the Red Hood. What do you know about it?
That he has horrible taste. When I wore that number, it was classy. More flashy maitre d' than motorcycle fetish. Oh, these kids today.
If you're behind this in any way, we will find out. You're not...
Oh, bird boy, you're so much less fun now. All grown up and in your big boy pants.
We also see that Batman is at his breaking point, at the edge, almost about to cross that line with the Joker. Keep this in mind. This will become very important in the end.
Still, better off than his replacement, right? Even tougher making with the yucks when you're worm food, huh? You gonna do it this time? Or you're just gonna put me in another body cast for 6 months? So disappointing. But back to the matter at hand. This new hoodie. You really think I would stir up so much trouble and not make sure you knew it was me?
Then we see that the crime lord that Red Hood is hurting the most is Black Mask. And Black Mask puts a hit out on Red Hood. And we get that moment reunion temporarily between Red Hood and Batman, or Jason Todd and Batman. And Red Hood justifies himself why he is doing what he is doing and telling Batman that he is doing Batman's job better than Batman, because it was mentioned in the movie that crime actually went down when Red Hood showed up in the scene.
Just be happy I only killed one of them. They're all assassins.
And what are you?
I'm cleaning up Gotham. More than you ever did.
You're stealing territory from Black Mask and killing anyone who gets in your way.
Black Mask is just a part of the plan.
Plan? You're becoming a crime lord.
Yes, you can't stop crime. That's what you never understood. I'm controlling it. You want to rule them by fear, but what do you do with the ones who aren't afraid? I'm doing what you won't. I'm taking them out.
Tell me what happened to you. Let me help.
It's too late.
So Bruce Wayne goes and digs up Jason Todd's corpse along with Alfred and finds a high-end latex doll. Blaming his carelessness, Bruce Wayne goes to find answers. So take a look at this scene specifically.
Sir, please, remember how distraught you were. Even I found it hard to...
Stupid and careless!
You know that if this was done in the original animation style, the facial expression would be much more evident, much more telling. And this is one of the final problems I have with this movie, is the stiff animation. Anyways, Black Mask manages to arrange a meeting with the Joker, and the Joker ends up still getting the upper hand. Even look at this clip. It is done so well.
I need you to murder the Red Hood. Do you think you can handle that?
May I have some water? I'm going to need something to wear in a very big truck
But what let it down is John DiMaggio's voice acting. You know that Mark Hamill, or even the Mortal Kombat Joker who's impersonating Mark Hamill, would have sounded so much more maniacal, sinister, and unpredictable in this scene. I'm not saying John DiMaggio is a bad Joker. No, he's a good Joker. But the bar set by Mark Hamill is so high that the difference between the Mark Hamill Joker and the John DiMaggio Joker is much more evident than the difference between the Kevin Conroy Batman and the Bruce Greenwood Batman. Eventually, Batman finds the truth after interrogating Ra's al Ghul, or rather having a discussion with him. And then, on the flight back, Alfred tries to console him, but Batman says that Jason Todd's life and death are his greatest failures, and he will have to carry that.
Sir, please take this to heart. Who Jason was before, how we lost him, and this dark miracle or curse that has brought about his return. It is not your fault. I know that you view his death as your greatest failure, but...
His life and his death are my greatest failure. Do you remember how he was when I found him?
Of course, sir. Fearless, arrogant, brash, and gifted.
Yes, different than Dick in so many ways, but still so full of potential and power. But I knew, even from the beginning, he was dangerous. If I hadn't made him into Robin, he would have grown to do wrong. Then I got him killed. My partner. My soldier. My fault. I own that. I'll carry that like everything else.
And that is what makes Batman such a good character. It is his imperfections. He does fail. He remembers when he failed, but he has to carry that and continue being Batman. He is not perfect. He has several flaws, but he still continues doing what he thinks is right. More on this towards the end of this segment. Eventually, we get to the final confrontation between Red Hood, Batman, and the Joker. Now, this dialogue exchange that you see between Red Hood or Jason Todd and Batman is some of the heaviest storytelling that I have seen in Batman. Just take a look.
Jason.
Yes.
I don't want to fight you.
All evidence to the contrary.
Please, I can help you. I know what happened.
Oh, you got to talking with Raish, huh? But does it make it easier for you to think that my little dip in his fountain of youth turned me rabid? Or is this just the real me? What bothers you more? That your greatest failure has returned from the grave? Or that I've become a better Batman than you?
You're ruling through intimidation and murder. You're just another criminal.
I'm what this city needs!
I know I failed you, but I tried to save you, Jason. I'm trying to save you now.
Is that what you think this is about? That you let me die? I don't know what clouds your judgment worse. Your guilt or your antiquated sense of morality. Bruce, I forgive you for not saving me. But why? Why on God's earth is he still alive? Ignoring what he's done in the past. Blindly, stupidly disregarding the entire graveyards he's filled. The thousands who have suffered. The friends he's crippled. You know, I thought I'd be the last person you'd ever let him hurt. If it had been you that he'd beat to a bloody pulp, if he had taken you from this world, I would have done nothing but search the planet for this pathetic pile of evil death-worshipping garbage. And send him off to hell!
You don't understand. I don't think you've ever understood.
What? What, your moral code just won't allow for that? It's too hard to cross that line?
Now, remember in my Batman the Animated Series review where I mentioned that Batman is morally selfish? Take a look at this specific clip, because I was waiting for this review. Take a look at this specific clip.
No! God Almighty, no!
It'd be too damned easy. All I've ever wanted to do is kill him. A day doesn't go by when I don't think about subjecting him to every horrendous torture he's dealt out to others, and then end him.
Aw, so you do think about me.
But if I do that, if I allow myself to go down into that place, I'll never come back.
Why? I'm not talking about killing Penguin or Scarecrow or Dent. I'm talking about him. Just him. And doing it because he took me away from you.
I can't. I'm sorry.
And the penny drops. Ladies and gentlemen, Batman does not cross the line because Batman fears himself. He fears that he will not be able to come back. Rather, he is not strong enough to cross the line and come back. And this is one of the biggest flaws of Batman. And here the movie is telling you that Batman is doing all this for himself primarily for his sense of justice, not anyone else's sense of justice, only for Batman's sense of justice. Batman is doing all this because he is not strong enough to come back when he crosses the line, even with Joker. Given that this movie has established that Batman is at the edge with Joker, Batman fears himself. And this is also the movie telling you that Jason Todd has actually succeeded in surpassing the Batman, because Jason Todd seems like he has the strength to cross that line when needed and come back. He just needs a little refinement. Jason Todd is not addicted to killing. And this is some amazing storytelling. Even when the Joker says everybody loses and everybody still loses.
I can't believe you got him! You expert, rootin', tootin', eagle-eyed, goth-loving marksman. I love it. You managed to find a way to win. And everybody still loses!
This is some phenomenal storytelling. My only problem is it should have been Mark Hamill or someone that sounded like Mark Hamill, not someone that sounded like Heath Ledger. The movie eventually ends with Bruce Wayne saying that this changes nothing. This doesn't change anything.
In light of all the recent events, would you like me to remove that?
No. This doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything at all.
And there you have it. Even after all that has happened, this doesn't change anything. And this tells you that Batman is still doing this for himself. And this is what makes Batman morally selfish. His morals, his sense of justice is more important than anyone else's. What a fantastic movie. Apart from those little tidbits, the pacing, the storytelling, the dialogues, good Lord, even Bruce Greenwood as Batman, it is done so well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen this, I implore you, this is a must watch for any Batman fan. 9.5 out of 10. Moving on to Batman, The Killing Joke. This is a movie released in 2016, which reprised Mark Hamill as the Joker and Kevin Conroy as Batman. I believe either one or both of them were in their 60s. Because right now, I believe, as of this recording, Mark Hamill is 70 years old and Kevin Conroy is 66. Going into this movie, I know this was based off of a graphic novel of the same name. Now, I don't read comics or graphic novels for the most part. There's a YouTube channel called Variant Comics or something. They do some audio descriptions of some comic books. So, materials such as Maximum Carnage and Absolute Carnage, I have consumed those, and I believe parts of the Batman Who Laughs and whatnot. I have consumed those through that channel. But for the most part, given that I'm legally blind, I do not consume comics. Literally because I'm legally blind, and metaphorically because I did not see anything about the Killing Joke before this movie. I went into this essentially blind. Like everyone else, I have similar issues with this movie. First, the opening 28 minutes or so of this movie revolves around Barbara Gordon. And all you need to know, which Batman fans don't know, maybe some Batman fans don't know, but other Batman fans, this is nothing new to them. But all you need to know is that by one point, Batgirl turns into basically Batman's groupie, and they end up having sex. After that, Barbara Gordon retires as Batgirl. So that's the first 28 minutes. After that, we get to the movie where we see the Joker. And it starts off with Joker committing a crime, and it seems like he wants Batman to find him, the Kevin Conroy Batman to find him. I know some people had some issues with how Batman was drawn. No, I personally did not have any issues with this because I focus more on the voice acting and the dark tone of Batman. Through this, the Joker sets about in motion, and we also get to see that there's something a little different this time because the Joker is not doing what he usually does. Let's say when he goes out of prison, he usually visits a brothel. Batman visited this brothel, and the prostitutes basically said he wasn't here. Also, we get to see another criminal basically saying that they are afraid of Batman, sure, but they are terrified of the Joker. And this just goes to show that yes, you can rule through intimidation caused by fear, but it works both ways. The person will basically behave based on who they fear more. If they fear Batman more, they'll be intimidated to behave properly. If they fear the Joker more, they'll be intimidated to do what Joker wants. And that was established. The movie also establishes by the end that the Joker still does not know that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and perhaps does not know that Barbara Gordon was Batgirl. But the Joker knows that Jim Gordon is closely associated with Batman, even perhaps Batman's friend. And the Joker goes after this connection, trying to weaponize this connection. He gets out of prison, buys a dilapidated amusement park, then visits the Gordon residence. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you a clip. Viewer discretion is advised. Okay? Because this clip, I feel, is particularly dark. Watch what happens when Joker visits the Gordon residence.
You really ought to let me work out a filing system for you. Something like we use at the library.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, you've got paste squidging out. Don't get it on your pants.
Barbara, I swear you're fussier than your mother was.
That must be Colleen. She's early. We're gonna work out. You'll have to entertain her while I get ready.
Look at this one. First time they met. He was just robbing banks then. You remember?
What I remember is you describing his white face and green hair. I was just a kid. Scared the hell out of me.
I thought you'd be interested.
Yeah, well, I had some really interesting nightmares.
Barbara!
I wouldn't worry yet if I were you. It's just a psychological manifestation, common among librarians. She thinks she's a coffee table edition, though I can't say much for this volume's condition. I mean, there's a hole in the jacket, and the spine appears to be damaged.
You scum! I'll...
Will you? Refreshing to hear. Not by the book. Speaking of which, this one won't be walking off the shelf anytime soon. In fact, the idea of her walking anywhere seems remote. But then, that's always a problem with softbacks. Oh God, literary discussions can get so dry, can't they? Finish the commission, take him where he needs to be. And please, do be careful. After all, he is topping the bill. It really is a shame you'll miss your father's debut, Miss Gordon. Sadly, our venue wasn't built with the disabled in mind.
Why are you doing this?
To prove a point. Here's to crime.
Man, that is dark. That is the second darkest I have seen Joker. This version of Joker, I like to call him Dark Joker. Yes, as if Joker himself could not get any darker. But when he has a specific point to prove to Batman, trying to break him mentally, he does something that is so evil that you have to call him Dark Joker. This particular scene, Mark Hamill absolutely nailed it. And he is in his 60s. In his 60s, Mark Hamill still sounds better than any of the other Jokers. Granted, you could tell his age in his voice. Granted, maybe in this scene, a few chuckles here and there would have made it even more sinister. But the representation of Joker, the dialogue delivery, the animation, it is done so well that I will have to call him Dark Joker in this scene. It is also established that Bruce Wayne is actually much closer to his breaking point than we saw in Under the Red Hood. Bruce Wayne admits that if things continue going according to the current course of events, either Batman is going to kill the Joker or the Joker is going to kill Batman. And Batman wants the Joker to know that he genuinely tried to help. After Joker's visit to the Gordon residence, what ends up happening is that the Joker sexually has his way with Barbara Gordon after shooting her in the spine, and then takes pictures of that act and then tortures Jim Gordon, puts him on a amusement park ride style train, and shows Jim Gordon, who is already tortured at this point, pictures of basically what the Joker did to Barbara Gordon in an attempt to break him mentally. But it doesn't work. When Batman arrives, Jim Gordon tells Batman that he wants this done by the book and insists upon being done by the book. Batman tells this to the Joker, saying that maybe you're the only one who did not recover from a bad day, because ordinary people recovers from having a bad day. Maybe it is only you. And here is where we get to see an internal conflict, if you will, in the Joker, suggesting that maybe the Joker realized that it was his weakness that kept him from coming back from the point of no return. After the action scene, we get to see that Batman offers to help Joker once more. And the Joker contemplates it. But by this point, he just says, it's too late for me. and the movie ends with Batman and the Joker having a laugh over a joke. Now, it is implied, perhaps, by some fans that Batman ends up strangling the Joker because, in the end, it is Batman who is laughing and Joker is not laughing as the camera pans downwards. But overall, I was very disappointed in the ending. I wanted either the Batman to finally kill the Joker or the Joker to finally kill Batman, putting a grand end to the era of Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy. But instead, we got the ending where they basically laugh at a joke, and I felt the ending was so lackluster given the build-up in the second part of the movie. All that build-up just for Batman and Joker to laugh and nothing happening. I'm sorry, but I cannot give this more than a 6.75 out of 10, and that is mostly due to the storytelling with the animation and Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill playing Dark Joker. I got to see Dark Joker one more time, but as far as this movie is concerned, 6.75 out of 10. Moving on to Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. Now, I'm sorry, but after watching this movie again, in light of all the other Batman content that I have covered, including the animated movies, I had to prepare a short script. So the movie starts with the Jokers actually trying to steal some communications equipment, but Whackman ends up intercepting them and trying to stop them.
I hate ripping this heavy junk. Give me cash cards any day.
Zip it, Bunk. The plan is get in and get out, fast.
Huh? It's a school night, boys and girls. I'm gonna have to call your folks.
A truant officer? Batman is a truant officer now? Guys, do you guys even know what truancy is and what a truant officer is? I don't think they have those anymore. So that joke in this context makes no sense, but this is how lame the movie starts off. This is lame even for Batman Beyond lines. And Batman Beyond is one of the biggest downgrades ever in Batman animation history that I have come across. The Jokers managed to escape with something, and it seems that the leader of the Jokers, yes, it is the Joker played by Mark Hamill, ends up being disappointed. And after an argument, ends up killing Bonk, and we get this reveal.
So was I. Oops. No, I wasn't.
Now, the reveal is done pretty well, but just soon after, we get this line.
I'm rested, and I'm ready to give this old town a wedgie again.
No, Batman Beyond, no, no, no. The Joker does not say wedgie. The Joker says,
drown the kids and shoot the neighbors.
And then we see that Bruce Wayne takes control of Wayne Enterprises again, and there is where the Jokers plan to hit. Now, this reveal to Bruce Wayne of the Joker is actually done pretty well, and it also indicates that somehow Joker knows who Bruce Wayne is and that he is Batman. And notice they also changed the music for the reveal part when Joker reveals himself to Bruce Wayne.
So decrepit.
Hello, Gotham. Joker's back in town.
Can't be.
Oh no, your old eyes do not deceive you, Brucey. After all, who know me better than you?
This leads to Terry McGinnis wanting to learn more about the Joker visiting Bruce Wayne, injecting him with the Joker venom, and Terry McGinnis saving him, and Barbara Gordon finally revealing the truth about what happened to Joker and how this cannot be the Joker. Now, pay very close attention to every detail, including the model they used for Joker, the animation style, and even the change in music and change in tone.
That evens things up a little.
Not really, bird boy.
A bird in the hand.
We soon realized Tim was missing. Night after night, we scoured the city, running down every lead, pressing every underworld connection. But no one had seen any sign of Robin. For 3 agonizing weeks, there was nothing. Then one night, we were sent an invitation. The asylum had been moved to a newer high-security building. The old building had been partially demolished and hung open like a rotting wound.
From this point, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, just marvel at the dark tone of this entire flashback sequence. And remember, boys and girls, this was a kid's cartoon. This is kids animation. That is just so freaking dark. A kid's lullaby coming from an operating theater of an abandoned prison, sung by Harley Quinn, which involves the Joker. Remember I told you a while ago about Dark Joker? This scene was screaming that we are going to meet Dark Joker. Now, just pay attention to what happened to Tim Drake.
And Harley and I were thinking it was time to start a family. Add a Joker Jr. to our merry brood.
But rather than go through all the joy of childbirth, we decided to adopt.
We couldn't do it legally, but then we remembered you always had a few spare kids hanging around. So we borrowed one.
No.
My God.
He needed a little molding, of course. What kid doesn't? But in time, we came to love him as our own. Say hello, JJ.
Folks, that is Dark Joker. That is just unbelievably dark. For 3 weeks, the Joker tortured Tim Drake and mind broke him to the point where he turned Robin into an image of his mortal enemy. Notice, This causes Bruce Wayne to throw the knife at Joker's head. This is dark Joker, ladies and gentlemen. And even when Barbara Gordon tries to talk to Tim, all he can do is laugh because Tim Drake was tortured so badly by Dark Joker.
Robin! Robin! Tim, it's Barbara. Can you hear me?
Oh, wait! Dark Joker gets even darker. This leads to Dark Joker showing Batman what he did. Now, pay very close attention to how this is presented, ladies and gentlemen.
Then I'll provide the narration. I'll begin with how I peeled back the layers of the boy's mind. Though he bravely tried to fight it at first. You would have been proud to see him so strong. But all too soon, the serums and the shocks took their toll, and the dear lad began to share such secrets with me. Secrets that are mine alone to know. Bruce. It's true, Batsy. I know everything. And kinda like the kid who peeks at his Christmas presents, I must admit, it's sadly anticlimactic. Behind all the sturm and batarangs, you're just a little boy in a play suit crying for mommy and daddy. It'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
And that is what makes Joker the most evil villain I have ever come across. He finds all of this to be very funny, especially this type of pain and misery and torture when he inflicts it. And especially when he does it to Batman. Like I said, when he has a point to prove to Batman trying to mentally break him, he turns into Dark Joker. This is the darkest I have ever seen Joker. He essentially mind broke what is Bruce's son, basically, made a family-style home video about it, found out about Batman's secret identity, and found the entire driving motive of Batman to avenge his parents' death in his own way to be so pathetic that it's not even worth laughing. But he is Dark Joker, so what the heck, he'll laugh anyway.
If you don't like the movie, I've got slides.
I'll break you in two.
Oh, Batman. If you had the guts for that kind of fun, you would have done it years ago. I, on the other hand... You've lost, Batman. Robin is mine. The last sound you hear will be our laughter. Here you go, sonny boy. Make Daddy proud. Deliver the punchline.
And to put the icing on the dark cake, Dark Joker basically has a mind-broken version of Batman's son in an image of his mortal enemy deliver the killing blow, the punchline, if you will. But
do it! That's not funny. That's not...
Tim actually ends up shooting the Joker instead. This actually showed that Joker's plan worked too well. Because if you think about Joker's sense of humor, the funnier punchline to Joker would be that if Joker went through all of this just to come so close to success and just failing at the very last moment, in Joker's sense of humor, that would be the funnier punchline. And even how Tim Drake laughs at the very end.
It's okay, Tim. It's okay.
Oh my God, that is unbelievably dark, ladies and gentlemen. And this was a kid's cartoon. Sometimes I feel that kids from our generation, we had a lot more backbone than kids nowadays. But I have nothing to say except that is the first time I saw Dark Joker, and it was done extremely well. That should have been the ending to its own movie. After that awesome flashback, we continue on with the story, the Batman Beyond story, and we finally see that the Joker is actually Tim Drake, but this is one of Joker's experiments where he implanted a chip along with his DNA to control Tim's brain and slowly implant Joker's personality into Tim. Where is this chip located? At the back of Tim Drake's neck.
I encoded my DNA on a microchip and set it into Bird Boy's bird brain. Here.
How stupid do you think I am? You're telling me that in all these 40 years or so, Leslie Tompkins, who treated Tim Drake, that microchip at the back of Tim's neck, are you out of your mind? How lazy can the writing be? I'm telling you, there is no defense. There is no objective defense of Batman Beyond when it comes to the classic Batman. Okay? And I mentioned this maybe in another video. We live in an era where we can make side-by-side comparisons of the past and the present. So we can dissect and we can exactly pinpoint why some things of the past were done worse than the present and some things of the past were done better than the present. Okay? Just because you have to tell a new story, it doesn't mean that the quality has to dive bomb to this level. Lazy, worthless, objectively bad writing. Anyone who says that it's a subjective opinion, they like this better than the classic Batman, their intelligence is inferior. Yeah, I said it. But in the final battle, Batman Beyond gets the upper hand by, wait for it, childish taunting.
Don't play psychoanalyst with me, boy.
Oh, I don't need a degree to figure you out. The real reason you kept coming back was you never got a laugh out of the old man.
I'm not hearing this.
Get a clue, Clowny. He's got no sense of humor. He wouldn't know a good joke if it bit him in the cape. Not that you ever had a good joke.
Shut up. Shut up!
I mean, joy buzzers, squirting flowers, lame. Where's the A material? Make a face, drop your pants, something.
The Joker should have dropped his pants to get a laugh. That's it. I'm done. This is not the real Batman, and this is not the real Joker either. The Joker never wanted to make Batman laugh at one of his jokes that are supposed to be comedically funny. No, the Joker wanted to break and defeat the Batman by breaking his spirit. I'm done. No more of this movie. 4 out of 10, and all that 4 goes to Dark Joker. The rest of this movie, 0 out of 10. Overall, 4 out of 10. And finally, we get to Batman, Mask of the Phantasm. Yes, I have saved the best for last. And just one more time, spoiler warning, spoiler alert. I say this because this is a movie that I feel every classic Batman fan should watch. So you have been warned. The movie starts with Batman thwarting a money laundering scheme, but at the same time, there is someone else that looks like the Grim Reaper and goes after a criminal called Chucky Saul. At the end of that encounter, Chucky Saul ends up dying, but everyone saw the Batman in that vicinity and assumes that Batman killed Chucky Saul. Right there, you have a premise of people assuming Batman doing something that Batman never does, kill someone. At the same time, we are introduced to a woman called Andrea Beaumont. Her history with Bruce Wayne is also alluded to pretty well over here. We also see in some well-placed flashbacks the history between Bruce and Andrea Beaumont that happened 10 years ago, and Andrea returned to Gotham City after 10 years. In the flashbacks, we see that Andrea Beaumont is also mourning the loss of her mother, well, a dead parent, and Bruce is there mourning the loss of his dead parents as well. But Andrea actually has conversations with her dead mother. Bruce perhaps only hears his dead parents in his head. And over that, there is some bonding established. And right there, bonding over grief, it actually ends up being a bit more long lasting. And that is established in this movie as well. Because after this, they become closer and closer, does Bruce and Andrea. So eventually, we see that Bruce is torn between the secret promise he made to his dead parents of being a crime fighter and honing in his skills, because they show this as well. He even tries out a costume where he looks like a ninja, and he forgoes it because it doesn't strike fear in his enemies. He is torn between his love for a woman and his promise that he made to his dead parents. And Andrea makes him happy, and he goes back to the cemetery and he is pleading to his dead parents. He wants to be happy. Just take a look at this scene.
I don't want to let you down, honest, but it just doesn't hurt so bad anymore. You can understand that, can't you? Look, I can give money to the city. They can hire more cops. Let someone else take the risk. It's different now. Please. I need it to be different now. I know I made a promise, but I didn't see this coming. I didn't count on being happy. Please, tell me that it's okay.
Maybe they already have. Maybe they sent me.
This is so powerful. This is one of the most powerful scenes of Bruce Wayne, where he is so conflicted. He did not see himself being happy. And believe me, this promise to the dead parent, it is an unbelievably powerful sentiment. But eventually, Andrea got Bruce to forgo his promise because she said that maybe they sent her. Maybe they want Bruce to be happy. So the next day, or very soon after, Bruce proposes to Andrea. And right after that day, Andrea leaves, asking Bruce to forget about him. Notice the transition, the gravity of this moment, that Bruce had to forego his promise to his dead parents to be happy with the woman he loves. And the next day, the woman he loves is gone. Asks Bruce to forget about her.
Alfred, what's wrong?
This just arrived, sir.
Left with Dad. Too young. Need time. Forget about me.
Just that one clip was all that was needed to tell the audience that Bruce will never let go of the promise he made to his dead parents ever again. And this is what makes Batman so good. We get to see Batman, who is seemingly invincible. We get to see him at his weakest. This combined with Batman doing detective work alongside such an evil villain like the Joker. People think that the Joker is not the main antagonist. I don't know what those people have been smoking. The Joker is absolutely the main antagonist in Batman Mask of the Phantasm. It is just a bit more subtle than in your face. But all these three combined, deep story of Batman, Batman doing detective work, and a very, very evil villain, which I will demonstrate in a little bit as well. This combination is what makes Mask of the Phantasm so good. Even the intro of the Joker and his characterization is done so incredibly well in this movie, to the point where he's even verbalizing his emotions or his emotional reactions.
I hate that song. Gasp! Can it be? Old Sally the Weezer Valestra!
Yeah, someone who wouldn't mind seeing our old pals out of the way. Maybe go sob. Me too.
And also, in this scene, when I saw this,
What do I look like? Pest control?
Think, you fool. Once he gets me, how long till he gets you? You know what I'm talking about. Your hands are just as dirty. Dirtier.
I was like, oh my god, Valestra is dead. Valestra is so dead. He pissed off the Joker. I know nothing much happens, but just that tension that, oh my god, Joker is pissed off. What is he going to do? You can't take anything he says on face value, or maybe you can. And that uncertainty of the Joker is what makes him so notorious. I mean, for all we know, he might actually put Valestra under that cutting knife because he's tired of Meatloaf. We also get a scene where the Joker pays a visit to Arthur, who is supposedly interested in Andrea, and they might be getting serious. Just the connection that Arthur has with Andrea Beaumont. When the Joker finds this out, just look at how this scene has been directed. When the Joker injects Arthur with the Joker venom.
Makes you want to laugh, doesn't it, Arthur?
Good heavens! Councilman, please, you've got to control yourself.
I'm trying, for God's sake!
Here's a relaxing order, Doctor.
I need some help. Hold still. Councilman, please. That's it. That's right. There, that should relax you enough for the toxin to run its course. Now try to stay calm.
Okay.
Why did the Joker meet with you? It has to do with the gangster murders, doesn't it? He thinks you're involved. Why?
I don't know.
That's not the answer I want.
Beaumont needed me to help him and his kid get out of town.
He kept in touch.
When was the last time you spoke to him?
Years ago, my first election campaign, I was running out of money and asked Beaumont for help. He said no.
So you sold him to the mob.
I was broke, desperate. They said all they wanted was their money back.
Councilman.
Man, that is some dark style animation. Oh my god. You almost feel bad for Arthur being injected by the Joker venom and finding it even hard to breathe when he is not trying to sleep. But we get the final big confrontation between the Phantasm, who is revealed to be Andrea, Batman, and the Joker. Batman insisting Andrea to not do this. Andrea replying back saying that the Joker has taken everything from her. His dad, his life, even Bruce. And Andrea figured out that Bruce Wayne was Batman. So all Andrea has is revenge. Now keep this sentiment in mind. All Andrea has is revenge. So the final encounter is basically Joker planting explosives all over the abandoned future science exhibit in Gotham. And then having the final encounter with Andrea. Now, people who are extremely mentally myopic will tell you that the Joker laughing here was basically at his own demise. But pay very close attention to this scene.
For once, I'm stuck without a punchline. Okay, I give up. I surrendered already. Tell her, Batman.
Andrea, you've got to get out of here. The place is wired to explode.
No. One way or another, it ends tonight. Goodbye, my love.
Did you notice the last thing Andrea told Batman before all the explosive went off? Goodbye, my love. That's all that the Joker needed to hear to slowly put two and two together. Because the Joker knows what he did to Andrea, what he did to her family 10 years ago. The Joker knows what he is constantly doing to Batman. The Joker knows how Batman thinks. And the Joker knows that Andrea came back after 10 years to seek revenge on everyone. The Joker knows that Batman does not kill. And now the Joker knows that Andrea Beaumont is so obsessed with revenge that she is going to kill herself in front of Batman. Batman's love is going to kill herself in front of Batman just to get rid of the Joker. And this type of mental and emotional misery, the Joker knows he is responsible for it. He is responsible for hurting the Batman in this way. And this is why, when he finally puts two and two together, the Joker laughs this hard. How did people not see this? How did people not figure this out? That the layer of this scene is so well directed and so complex that it puts another layer onto how evil Joker is. Because on top of everything, on top of having no reason whatsoever, one of the greatest traits of Joker being a villain is that the Joker is an asshole. The Joker is one of the greatest a-holes you will ever find. This type of emotional trauma, on top of all the physical, mental, and psychological trauma that the Joker already caused the Batman, this extra layer, the Joker finds this very, very funny. And I'm sorry, I'm going to digress a little bit back to Code Veronica again, because once again, I am absolutely shocked by the fact that no one that I have come across actually caught this story in Code Veronica. This is what Alfred or Alexia's reaction should have been when one of them or both of them saw Claire's misery after Steve died. This should have been a similar scene.
Steve? Steve?
And this next scene is going to piss a lot of people off, but just hear me out, okay? Put your pitchforks down, just hear me out. The Joker is so much of an a-hole that if you were to put the Joker in this scene, somehow the Joker convinced that he caused this amount of heartache and misery and just gut-wrenching emotional pain, it wouldn't be out of place.
Don't do this to me, baby. Don't do this to me, baby. No.
It'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
That's right. One of the most emotionally heartbreaking scenes in video game. The death of Sarah. The death of Joel's daughter. It would completely not be out of place for the Joker to find that funny. And Return of the Joker has shown that. He finds this specific type of pain. He finds this to be very funny. I might make a separate video, one absolute final video about the story everyone missed in Code Veronica, because after my previous analysis video, I actually did some more analysis and I found out that it's actually much more tragic than even I thought. It is very, very, very tragic, like especially like the Claire Redfield story. And like I said, this went over everyone's heads. But getting back to Mask of the Phantasm, the movie ends with Batman regretting once again he could not save Andrea. Alfred convinced Batman not to beat himself up over it.
I couldn't save her, Alfred.
I don't think she wanted to be saved, sir. Vengeance blackens the soul, Bruce. I always feared you would become that which you fought against. You walk the edge of that abyss every night. But you haven't fallen in, and I thank heaven for that. But Andrea fell into that pit years ago. And no one, not even you, could have pulled her back.
Batman basically somehow gets the hint that Andrea might still be alive. Andrea sails off knowing that she and Batman can never be together. Then the movie ends with Batman standing on top of a building after all he has lost, after all his battles. He finally opens his eyes, sees the bat signal blazing in the sky. Because despite everything, he still has the promise he made to his parents. He still has Gotham. He is Batman, and he is needed. Ladies and gentlemen, I have nothing else to say about Mask of the Phantasm except 10 out of 10. The greatest Batman animated movie I have ever seen that perfectly encapsulates who Batman is and who Joker is, and detective work. 10 out of 10. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Real Batman. Please hit that like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons. And also leave your comments in the comment section below on what you feel was the best Batman animated movie. And if there is one that I missed in particular that you recommend, please put it in the comment section below so that I can go and watch it and provide a review of that myself as well. This is The Real Batman signing out. I'll see you in the next video.